حي على الفلاح.
There's actually studies on this in psychology. Marathon runners, some of the most successful marathon runners in the world that have traveled, that have run literally dozens of hundreds, sometimes dozens upon dozens of miles continuously without taking a break. And you ask them their secret, they're like, they don't look too far ahead. They just look enough that they could see a small goal, and then they fixate themselves on the next small thing, and the next small thing, and the next small thing. Why? You can have a big goal, but you cannot ever achieve it if you don't have waqsid fi mashyik. Clear agenda every time you take a step. Clear attainable goal. This is all I'm focused on. What happens often for a student, for example? A student, because I'm teaching nowadays, I'm teaching Arabic. So I'll give you an Arabic student example. I'm teaching one concept. I'm teaching one thing. And the student says, but I was reading an ayah and there's so much more to it than what you just taught us. Well, how are we going to remember everything? What are we going to do? There's so much Arabic. Hold on. Just this step. Your goal right now is to not look at the rest of the ocean. Your goal right now is to just sit on that little boogie board and take one stroke. You're not asked to cross the Atlantic Ocean. You're just being asked to get used to, standing in the water for a little bit. Then we'll take another little step. Then another little step. That's waqsid fi mashyik. Tangible goals that you can actually achieve. That's what a day is about. That's how a person has to think. Because one, sometimes people don't have a goal at all. They don't have a goal at all. Or two, they have such a big goal and they never slice it up into smaller goals. You have to slice it up into smaller goals, and that's captured inside waqsid fi mashyik, a purposeful intent. And when you have that, then every single day, it's like you accomplished a mission, right? Even though you didn't accomplish the goal, even for athletes or people that are studying or people that are memorizing Quran, they didn't finish memorizing the Quran in a day. Or maybe that day the ayah was really hard. They couldn't even do a page of the Quran. They could do one line of the Quran that day. It's possible. But you know what? They made that progress that day. So that day was a success. That day, they accomplished their goal that day. And if they died that day, they died successful. Right? وَلَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. A person will have nothing to their advantage except the efforts they made. What did you try to do? That's it. That's all we're going to be asked about. So he's teaching his son a very powerful lesson. Look, have goals, be clear about them, and then take steps. That's the other embedded meaning inside, waqsid fi mashyik, in your walk. In other words, goals aren't going to come to you. You're going to have to go to them. We've become so used to getting delivery, right? And then advertising feeds that too. Watch this or do this for 3 minutes a day and you're going to da-da-da-da-da. Or just, do this and then you'll get this and you'll get this. So that means, and by the way, the more they try to sell you a product, the more there's no effort required on your part. It'll do all the work for you, right? And the reality of life is that nothing will come your way until you take the steps, until you make the effort, until you brave. أول ما تبدأ بخطوة, the famous saying that's in so many cultures. 1,000 miles start with a single step. That's waqsid fi mashyik. But what else does that? It has other impacts. When you have a goal like that, like every day you have a particular goal, then other distractions have to be put on the side. No, I can't play video games right now. I got to get this done. No, there's no time for me to watch a movie right now. I got to get this done. Hey, listen, I'll text you later. I got to get this done. I have a goal. You understand? So you don't have marah anymore. You're not jumping from one thing to the next and next. And what do you want to do now? No, what are we going to do? You're not running aimlessly in life. You actually have something to fill your hours with, your minutes with. And once you accomplish that, then you can reward yourself and take a break. Great. But you at least feel like that day was a success. That day I accomplished something. And when you do that, this is the last part of this at least this ayah. Where does confidence come from? Confidence doesn't just come from, you have to be brave and you have to not be nervous and intimidated by other people. No. Confidence comes when you have a purpose and you're accomplishing that purpose. You're so focused on your goal that other people become invisible. You ever see a child that's building Legos? Like the universe stops existing because they've got a goal. They're just building it, building it, building it. Empires around them can rise and fall. They're still building it. Because they're not looking at what anybody else is doing. When you are clear about your goals, then other people and how well they're moving forward, or they're not moving forward, or whatever else they're doing, all of that becomes irrelevant. All of that just disappears from your mind. And when that happens, what is confidence? Confidence means you're sure of what you're doing. You find meaning in what you're doing. You don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You have nothing to prove because you already have a goal. You're working towards that. And when somebody else comes and says, by the way, I know some people that have the same goal, they're way better than you. Good for them. Thanks, bye. And you keep working on what you're doing. Because you're too focused. You have when someone has qasd in their waqsid fi mashik, when they have a goal and a direction, a purpose in their walk. You know what that means? Then they're not looking this way or that way because they're focused on what they got to look at. That means you just stop being distracted by what others are doing. And you don't need to tell, hey, by the way, guess what I'm doing? You don't need validation by announcing what you're doing, because what you do has so much meaning to you. You don't need somebody else to give you a like or throw you a mashallah or tell you, wow, that's amazing. And now finally you feel like you're doing something. You don't need it. That's confidence. That's not being shallow. And this is why the logical connection, just appreciate that logical connection. What does Allah say? وَقْصِدْ فِي مَشْيِكَ وَغْضُضْ مِنْ صَوْتِكَ. Lower your voice. Lower a part of your voice. This is a remarkable phrase. What does it have to do with walking with purpose? When does someone raise their voice? Someone raises their voice because they want attention. Someone raises their voice because they want other people to listen to them and stop what they're doing. But when you're clear about what you're doing, you don't need to overpower anybody else's voice. And when you really have purpose in life, when you really have purpose every day, then anybody who wants to benefit from your purpose, you don't have to scream loud and out loud to get their attention. They'll come to you. They'll say, wait, I'm too far away from them. I can't hear what they're saying. I'll go closer to them. You don't have to raise your voice to get to them. They'll just come to you. This is a philosophy of even entrepreneurship, of projects. Some of you want to start Islamic projects, want to start something new, right? And there's a principle behind it. Here we're learning a principle in life and of the things you're going to do in your life. We're living in the advertising world, right? So people are like, how are we going to advertise this new product? How are we going to advertise our new Dawah program? How are we going to advertise this new Islamic book that we wrote? How are we going to get the word out there? We have to scream loud and clear from every corner before we can, And you know what? The new world of advertising is about endorsements, right? Get an athlete to endorse this shoe, right? Or get some celebrity to say, this is the book you want to read, right? So this is all about other people who have accomplished something are now validating what you're hoping people will like because they like them. In other words, the service, the product, the venture, whatever it is, it cannot stand on its own feet. It needs the attention of someone else making it valid. On its own, it's not strong enough. Not enough people are benefiting from it. You know why? Because your concern is still people and how loud you are, and that you're still looking around. You're still not focused on your goal. When you're focused on your goal, whether one person benefits from it or 1 million people benefit from it, it doesn't faze you because that wasn't your purpose. Your purpose was to accomplish something meaningful. And that is where sincerity also comes from. That's where not being a fake person comes from. Because the people that are fake that we talked about last time are so concerned about what? Everyone else. And the people that are real and the people that are legit in their life are people that have a goal in front of them and they don't dissuade themselves. Nothing distracts them from their goal. And those are the people that I would argue Allah gives qubul to. Allah gives acceptance to them. Because they show Allah sincerity in whatever they do, then people's hearts gravitate towards them anyway.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If you enjoyed this video, please do share it with friends and family. If you want to see more videos from this series, click on the box at the top. If you want to see other videos, click on the box at the bottom. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks.